Okay, this will be a pretty short video, but it's kind of an important one. I've been thinking about this a little more and more lately, and I basically come up with a theory as to why our economy is not working and why it's becoming increasingly hostile. Okay, well, we're looking for reasons, people to blame for this economy that's increasingly dysfunctional, and we love to point fingers, but gonna introduce a concept to you, and I hope you think about it. So, why is our economy not working very well right now? Well, first let's talk about how an economy works, okay? So, in a very simple manner, in a very simple way, we can just say that we create a currency, a physical currency, we create money, and we reward people with money when they create value, right? So people create value that other people can use, and we pay them for it, right? Simple. So the problem with our economy today is that we don't reward all value creation. We only reward value creation of those people who create material goods and services, and mainly material goods, and to a lesser extent certain services. Okay, there's one particular service that we do not reward people with money. There's one particular service that provides a very important type of value to society that we don't reward. What is it? We do not pay stay-at-home parents for raising children, to raise children. Okay, so let's think about this. If we don't reward people to raise their own children, if we don't pay stay-at-home parents, what happens? Well, at the same time, while not paying those stay-at-home parents, we have attached all of the necessities in the world, all the necessities, to money. So if you want to eat, you have to have money. If you want shelter, you have to have money to pay rent or mortgage or whatever. If you want clothing, you have to have money. If you want energy, if you want to heat your house, you have to have money. So we have attached all the necessities to the dollar bill, right? And at the same time, we have stopped paying stay-at-home parents to take care of their children. Now, or stopped, we never did, right? What is the fundamental problem with this? Well, if you need money to buy necessities and you're not making money taking care of children, then there's going to be a deficit in the extent to which you take care of your children. You're going to have to go out and spend your time doing other things. You're going to have to go out and work 40 hours a week. Both parents are working 40 hours a week. Maybe they make a living. That might work. Now let's say maybe a parent dies, or maybe a couple splits up, and now all of a sudden this mother has to provide for herself and the children, okay? And in order to do that, she's going to have to work more, right? She's going to have to maybe work 60 to 80 hours a week. Now, what happens to the child? Well, that child, there's a deficit of childcare occurring there, right? And that deficit is basically a lack of love. And that lack of love is causing us to create the next generation of children in a dysfunctional manner. We're basically creating a dysfunctional and a destructive generation who is responsible for creating all of the necessities in the future. Today's children are tomorrow's future. Today's children are the people who are going to be creating and producing tomorrow's value, including the necessities. So we are raising children without love because we're not rewarding the act of loving those children. So personally, my mom and dad worked when I was very young. They worked 40 hours a week or more, right? And my dad worked a lot more than that. And I was lucky enough to have grandparents who took care of me, and they raised me great. I cannot say more about what my grandparents did for me, and the rest of my family even. But not everyone's as lucky as me, okay? And that's the problem here. It's that if we assume that people working 80 hours a week are going to be able to raise their children sufficiently enough to create a functional next generation of workers and of laborers, and we don't take into account the fact that it's very hard to do that for some people, then we create a dysfunctional society. And the thing is this process only gets worse over time. We only create more and more dysfunction over time. So the solution is simple, right? There's two things we can do. We can either pay the stay-at-home parents an appropriate wage for what they're doing, for the value that they're creating, for the future potential of value. Okay, again, that value is literally the ability to have a functional society. It's the dysfunctional children of today become dysfunctional adults. That's just how it works, right? Or we can simply ensure that necessities are met. We can ensure that people have food, shelter, healthcare, education, clothing. If we do either of those two things, then we wipe this problem off the map, okay? But so long as we keep punishing people for having children, what's going to happen? Well, people are going to stop having children. That's exactly what's happening. That's why the population in the United States is not replacing itself. That's why the border's open right now. The border's open because in order to sustain the US dollar as the world's reserve currency, we need bodies, we need laborers. And without immigration, the US population is not replacing the population. So we have an open border for that reason exactly. And that's the part that mainstream media won't tell you out loud, but that's the truth. So again, we have to pay stay-at-home parents. We have to value the love that we put into the next generation of children. Otherwise, that next generation is going to be dysfunctional. And the truth is, again, we've been through this cycle for a couple generations now. Probably, for a while now, right? For a couple hundred years, and we're becoming perhaps more dysfunctional. We're not taking care of our children. We're putting them in front of an iPad and we're letting corporations take care of them. We're letting advertisers brainwash them. We're letting mainstream media fearmonger about the state of the world instead of teaching these children values that actually will create a functional society in the future. It's really simple. We're not taking care of our children. And it's been that way for several generations, and because of that, we don't have an economy that works. This is the biggest problem in the world today, okay? I beg you to create... I beg you to make an argument that proves me wrong, okay? This is why more people are living in tents, okay? There's more people going off the grid. There's more people, there's more poverty, there's more violence is even on the rise. The reason this is depression, obesity, the reason this is happening is because we did not raise the children properly, and now those children are becoming unhealthy, dysfunctional adults. Okay, it's really quite simple. It's like father like son, right? If we don't take care of our children, then how are the children going to take care of the elderly? They're not going to. It's just, we're going to end up leaving our elderly to die. It's going to be like those old stories where they send the elderly into the woods to die alone because they can no longer care for themselves. So we have to fix this problem. We have to either reward parents for taking care of their children, or more broadly, we have to make sure everyone's necessities are being met. Otherwise, the people whose needs aren't being met, what are they going to do? Well, they're going to get fed up. They're going to revolt. They're going to get depressed. They're going to essentially become dysfunctional. That's what's happening in this world right now, okay? And the more and more this economy becomes dysfunctional, the more people are going to exit from the economy. And again, as I gave examples of, people are getting off the grid. People are planting gardens because food is expensive. People are they're starting to live in tents because they can't afford the real estate in the market. This is going to continue to happen. We're going to continue to basically find ways to meet our needs outside of the economy because the economy is increasingly dysfunctional. The economy is dysfunctional because the economy doesn't reward taking care of children. Really simple. Thanks for watching.